Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Welcome, kings and queens, to the palace. We will not be long. Y'all, this is an impromptu live. I had to jump on here and clear the air. Me and my husband got into a discussion about the role of a woman in a relationship. And I said, you know what? Let's take it to the palace. Let's go live. And he was really pleading his case. And I said, no, hold your thoughts, bruh. We finna take this to the palace. I said, and one thing about my palace members, I'm gonna show y'all him in a minute. I said,
No,
he said, no, you're not. I said, they gonna jump up on this live. Can y'all hear me? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let me know if y'all can hear me. We see, I see you, Miss Edith, Dee Dee, Pasino Rules, the review hour. Good morning, everybody. Sylvia P, good morning. Fruit Gummy Queen, Lizzie Wheeler. Umina, I see you. Yolanda, Dee Dee, Tia P, Daphne, Miss Whoa, ooh, whoa. Toot Latrice, G.A. Leo, Butterfly Kisses, Charlene, Mary Kelly, Sabrina, Shirley Terry, Cephas Love. All right, Lisa Girl, Flory Hook, Nicole, Kat, Karma Girl. All right, good morning, everybody. If I missed anybody, please forgive me. Yes, so I'm coming through clear. So let me ask you something. I'm going to drop it in the chat. We're going to talk about it. And I'm going to give my husband an opportunity to explain himself. Okay? So let me put the link in the chat. My question is to you, ladies, what's your role in a relationship? What's your role? When it comes to a relationship, marriage, seriously dating, based on your perspective, what's your role as a woman? That's the first question. Good morning, Ebony the Best. Tanga J, I see you. Good morning. The second question is, are men and women aligned when it comes to role expectations? Because what my husband said to me, I was like, that's not my role. That's your role. So, he's nervous over here. So what's your role? Let me drop the link in the chat. I would love to talk about it. Like I said, we're not going to be here long. It was hilarious to me, and I felt like we had to bring it to the palace. So I'm dropping a link in the chat now, honey. They
mm,
can't see you.
hmm
What's a woman's role to you in a relationship?
take care of the man.
Say it loud.
Take care of the man, and my role is to protect and provide. Your role is to be caregiving.
He said my role is a caregiver to take care of the man. Do y'all agree? Put a one if you agree. Good morning, Sean. Do you agree with my husband? Kimberly Anthony says that her role, she's his helpmate. His helpmate. Good morning.
Woman's the balance in the
Okay,
relationship.
Ebony says she agreed with you. Partial. Vibrant thing says she partially agrees with you. Let me tell you how okay, a helpmeet. Let me tell you how the conversation came up. Uh,
God,
I noticed, I noticed that he had some water in his beard after he showered, and I said, "Sweetie, you have water in your beard." Now I'm drying myself off, right? I'm getting out the shower. And he said, well, wipe it off for me. Take care of me. And I looked at him. I said, your job is to take care of me. And he says, no, your job is just dumb and petty. He says, your job is to take care of me. And I said, no, your job is the protector and the provider as the man. So that's how we got on that topic. And of course, he followed me around the house wanting to debate. And I said, we are taking it. Oh, wait a minute. Vibrant thing says yes. You should have wiped it off.
thank you.
No, don't think. He said thank you. All right, both. It's 50-50. Ladies, what's your role? Okay, they want you to expound on your thought. They want you to go a little bit deeper. What else do you see a woman doing that I should be doing in a relationship? You got to talk loud so they can
Uh,
hear you.
I would say like most likely most. Hold on. I would say I don't know. It's all about me. My personal thought is that woman has to like my wife have to be like all over me. Like I love love. So if she would be uh helping me out when she sees something wrong, is something going on with me, and I think that's beautiful.
Like what? Like
Like wiping my beer or doing something for me that I don't notice, and you come out to me and just do it for me. That's not, I think that's beautiful. So that's what I mean. Like that's your job.
to
That's
what? What's my job?
just to,
You guys speak up.
I don't know how to say it.
Say it in Spanish.
No, no, they're
Say it.
not.
They'll translate. Go ahead.
No, it's caregiving. Like that's it.
He said a
Just
caregiver. Now, y'all, is that the job of the woman or is that the job of the mother?
because the women are the balance of the relationship. Because if you take away the woman, men tends to do whatever they want. But when you have the woman in the family, woman to me is like the center of the wheel.
Okay, do y'all agree with him? Mary Kelly says, helpmate that walks beside him and not behind him. Is a woman's role that of a caregiver in a relationship? Ladies, is that how you see? EBSQ says, I don't agree. I dropped the link in the chat. Y'all come out. Y'all can come out. I want to save my thoughts because I don't want to dominate. I don't want to influence like your thoughts. They said if you are sick, then yes. They said if he is sick, yes. But if you are sick, he should take care of you. And somebody else asked, would you be wiping my face?
Yeah, I do it all the time. I do the stuff like she don't even have to ask me. I do it. Like I don't have an issue, even though if she's sick or not, happy or sad. I do it. Like there's no, to me that's not nothing bad. It's what it is.
All
Love.
right, we got a guest. Hold on. We're ordering from Starbucks, y'all. Hold on. We got Ebony the vet. Welcome, Ebony.
Hello, how can I help you?
Welcome,
Hey, Queen.
Ebony. How are you? Go ahead and talk, Ebony. I'm going
Good.
to
Hello.
put myself on mute order.
Hi. So I agree with you with, and I think it works for both of us. Like if we're both in the bathroom together, like if me and my husband's in the bathroom together and I don't look apart and he don't look apart, I'm expecting him to look at me and said, "Hey, that don't look right," and I'm expected to look at him and say, "Hey, babe, this beard don't look good," or the shirt you're wearing don't look good. So I agree with you to that extent where we should be there for you, but I also want you to be there for me. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I know there's been conversation about this 50-50 thing, and with Gabrielle Union and her husband. To some extent I agree, and to some extent I don't agree. That's my
I
thoughts.
don't have the
Would,
double cook
okay.
available. Would you like to do a different
Do you do
sandwich?
yourself as a
Well, I have
caregiver
the number
in a
one
relationship?
impossible.
I do. I mean, we know that men sometimes like us to like be their mother, right? Um, I sometimes have to still iron my husband's shirt to make sure he looks apart, because sometimes he go out there like nobody owns him, right? So I still, will say, "Hey, this shirt is much better," or "This pants look, much better." I take care of him. Like my mom taught us, like in Jamaica, I my mom will get up and cook breakfast for my dad before he leaves for work. So I got that in me to get up, make sure that he has food, um, breakfast before he leaves the house. Still cook, Jamaican style. Anybody who knows Jamaican, we are cooking big breakfast for them before they leave the house. So I still do that. When he comes home, I make sure that food is ready for him, and just everything is set up for him. And I
I
don't think
love it.
that's spoiling him or babying him. It's what I see my mom and my dad, do, which they're still
That's
together
right.
after 50 years. They're still
That's
together.
right.
We're supposed to, in some way, cater to them, right? They're the head of the house in
That's
certain
I that
things,
woman.
making sure that we have a roof over our head, right? Making sure the bills are put together. But our job is to make sure they have the strength to do the things we're expecting from them. Does that make sense?
It does. Even if you're a working woman, that would be my follow
Yes.
up question to that.
Yes.
Okay.
Even if, because I have a career, he has a career, but I still put that time in to make sure I don't want his mama taking care of him. No, ma'am. So if I have to take on that role in that way, then I will.
All right.
So
So, well, okay.
I agree
Okay,
with your
papá,
husband.
calor. Vamos
All
manejando.
right. Thank you. And welcome to the stage. I
Escuchate.
appreciate that. Stay here, Ebony. Welcome to the stage, Joy. What are your thoughts?
Good morning, Queen and Palace. My thoughts are that a relationship should be 100 and 100. I don't believe in 50-50 because that means something is lacking. I think in a relationship, you both are bringing yourself. So it's important that both of you have that exchange amongst another. So I know I hear often about, oh, well, a woman's supposed to cater to their man. A man should also cater to their woman. And I think when you kind of silo off, you can neglect your own needs. And so that's why I believe it's 100 and 100. Like, I think if a man's the visionary, a woman's going to be the architect, right? And both of those roles are important and have certain needs that should be catered to. So, yeah,
But
wipe the
I think
water off
I hear
his
what you
beard,
said.
but also, he should do the same for you as well.
Let me ask you this,
Okay.
Joy.
Hmm.
Hold on, Ebony, hold on. Let me ask you this, Joy. When you
Mhm.
say, because I'm following both of you, when you say a man should also cater to a woman, what does that look like to you? A man catering to you?
That he's open in his communication, that he's attentive to her emotional, mental, and spiritual needs, that he shows up for her beyond just being a financial provider. Because what that then is going to nurture in me as a woman is that's going to always reaffirm his character, his values, and his love to me. I'm a career woman, and I know that you are as well. So with that, we both know, well, I can take care of myself financially, but when you add that component of the love, the nurture, the care for you mentally, spiritually, and physically, that just heightens it.
Okay. Let me ask my husband, do you feel like you do everything that she just mentioned when it comes to catering or taking care of me?
Yeah. I think I do. I'm not perfect, but I do a pretty good job based on my like what I grew up, like what I grew up seeing with my mother and father. So I think I do a pretty good job so far.
What'd you see with your mother and father?
They take care of each other. Like they just both used to work, and they do what I supposed what I do with you. Most of the stuff is because I have seen it with my mother and father back in the days.
May I ask a
So I
question?
think I do it pretty good.
Hold on, hold on. You
Uh,
got to talk louder. You got to hurry up and
That's it.
talk louder. He's still talking. Hold
No,
on.
that's it.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
I'm
okay.
so sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect and cut
It's
him off.
okay.
My
Look, he
question.
talks loud any other time.
Oh,
Go ahead.
my question would then be.
Hangover.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that I know often we look at our parents or vantage points, but because each relationship is unique, um, what you see, or better at, like, what your partner would currently need, is it aligned to like what your partner needs, not just what has been seen before?
Okay.
That's a great question. Go ahead, Ebony.
Okay. We have to look at it this way. There's like a tree, right? With branches. There's the love branch. There's different branches, right? There's the SD, that part. And there's the part where we cater to them in the sense that we're being their shoulder, you know, for what they need in terms of, sometimes husband they get emotional, right? We have to be there for that part also, besides him catering and providing and doing all these other stuff. I look at it as branches of a tree that we have to take care of, and we have to support them or cater to them. I know the word catering seems like, oh, we're going to be there at their beck and call
Yeah,
and
that
do
word's throwing
everything.
me off.
Yeah, let's take that word out of it then. It's just being there for them. And yeah, do we in turn need that? We know as women we feel ourselves as we're independent. We're no, no. If it's 50-50, then we're not looking at this whole 100 because it's already, you know what I mean? It's like that 50-50 make the 100. Does that make sense?
I think when I said a hundred, it
Hmm.
means bringing the sum of your entire self. So
Hmm.
that's what I mean. I think if you go into a relationship and you're not somewhat whole in at
Hmm.
least who you are, or having the self awareness of like your needs or where you're lacking, that can then hinder a relationship and cause unrealistic expectations. So, for
True.
example, if you're, say, a man or even a woman that communication and expressing love is something difficult for you, 100% of you is being able to acknowledge that and then at least voice that to some kind of degree to your partner so that it doesn't leave them in the unknown. And that's what can cause, that kind of head nodding because the other person may not know.
I never looked at it that way. I guess, thanks for that perspective. I wasn't looking at it at what you just said, but thanks for that. Yeah, that makes sense.
No, thank you both. When I think about, somebody said, I think it was Joy, loving the way you love. I agree. I agree, Joy, because a lot of times we give love the way we feel love, and that may not necessarily be someone else's or your partner's love language. Do you think women are more equipped to be in relationships than men? I'll start with Joy first.
I think society has groomed an ideology and a belief that that is true. I think because women are supposed to be the nurturers and the more in touch with their emotions, it then created a way for men not to have accountability in that aspect. But I don't believe that that's true. I just think that isn't nurtured more in men than they do for women.
Okay. All right, Ebony.
Queen, can you repeat the question?
Do you feel that women are more equipped and ready to be in relationships compared to men?
I'm going to say yes. And again, I don't want to continue mirroring my parents' relationship, but what my mom has instilled in me made me ready, made me know what to accept, what not to accept, what is expected of me, and what is expected of the man I'm with. My dad did that part. Yes.
Okay. Should have known I was going to set you up, Ebony. If women are more equipped to be in relationships, and or somewhat have an advantage, right, because of the way that we are structured biologically, then why are we telling women to cater to men?
Again, we're going to take that word catering out of it, right? We're going to remove the word catering instead of doing what is expected of us, right? I know it sounds cliche, but it's basically doing what is expected of us. You know how they said there's mama's boys and the what do you call it? The two parent household. I'm going to keep referring back to that. I'm thinking if a guy is brought up without a male in the household, right? And they only have their mom. They're only going to give what they see their mom do to them, right? With a two-parent household, it's completely different. It is.
I'm going to jump in here and give just a little bit of a disagreement there because we've seen, or at least I've seen,
Hmm.
men that come from two parent households that they may have that same I'm going to take mama boy out of it, but lack of accountability because in that two parent household, you may not know the structure that was set there and that he may have seen his mother solely give to the father and nothing was reciprocated, and now you have a man in the world that is his belief, right? And so it could go for the same of a single mother's household, going off of what you were saying. So
Oh, I'll be
I
better.
think it goes
Hold on,
back
hold on. One
to,
second.
I'm
Can we
sorry.
mute up if we're not talking? Mute up real quick. Welcome to the stage, but go ahead and mute. Go ahead, Joy.
Oh, I think it just again goes back to what I was saying earlier about how how society has structured and looked at men and women going all the way to when they're boys and girls. Oftentimes as young women and girls, we're always talked about, preparing yourself to be a wife and what does that look like and how will that be? But we don't always hear the conversation about young men. What is it like to be a husband and what goes into that? And that's when you can start see that unevenly yoked of someone who has been prepared and been structured to be in this role of commitment versus someone who was not.
That's a really good point from both of you. And I love the pushback because I feel like it incites a deeper level of conversation where we're able to peel back some of the things that we're saying. And I have to agree with you, Joy, because my husband came from a two-parent household. And feel free to keep me honest here, honey. And after we got married, I had to kind of like call a couples meeting, to say, hey, listen, you got to help me. You got to help me. I cook for you because I love to cook and I can cook. That's a gesture of love, not responsibility. In my eyes, that's a gesture of love. That's not my responsibility as a woman. I do it because I love to cook and I do it because I love you. But, your mother had to cook for you because she's your mother. But as a woman, I don't have to cook for you. So if I cook, can you help me with the dishes? If I cook, can you blah blah blah? Don't. And this was like earlier on in the marriage. Don't watch. If it's don't let me take on the bulk of the work because in your head you feel like that's my role as a woman because it's very tedious. Would you like to add anything before we go to the next person, Ben?
No.
Okay. All right. So I agree, Joy, and I did have to have that conversation. Because sometimes men have a level of expectation that their wife's role is similar to the mother's role, and it's not, in my opinion. It's not. Anybody want to challenge or say anything before I go to Esquire? All right. Let me make sure I'm saying your name right. Is it S? How do you say your name?
I
Esquire?
say Ebs Q. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, Ebs Q. I grew up in a two-parent household as well, and I think that most women aren't equipped for relationships because I think I've always said this. I think the most important relationship a woman has is a relationship with her father. And if your father isn't a present role growing up, you don't really understand how a man should treat you. And so, and you had said something, and I really don't like the way you said it, like, hey, if I cook, can you help me with the dishes? To me, it's like, that's your job. If I cook, I'm not even going to ask my husband, are you going to help me with the dishes? He knows he's going to help me with this. He's going to do the dishes. And if he
But how
cooks,
long did
I'm
it
going to
take
do the
him? How
dishes.
long did it take him to get there? How long did he do that immediately?
No, yeah,
Like, did
he's always done that. But he was
okay?
always so sufficient. It's like I think at a certain point when I feel like I'm mothering my husband, I don't feel sexually attracted to him. And I think that, so it's like if I feel like I have to like take care of you, like I'm taking care of a child, then I don't want to have sex with you. It's just, I don't feel attracted to that. I don't feel like you're a man. Like the thing is too, he lived on his own. He was divorced and he lived by himself for a number of years. So he took care of himself. It wasn't like he didn't, I don't know how he was in his first marriage, but the marriage that we have, there's no like gender roles. It's like we're a unit. And hey, there's going to be things that I'm going to be strong in, and there's going to be things that you're going to be strong in. And whenever we're faced with that problem, the person who's dominant in whatever situation that we need help on, they're gonna step up to the plate, whether it be me or him. And the other one has no problem falling back and understanding, like, hey, this ain't my strong suit. And yeah, she might be my wife, but financially, she's better at this stuff than me. So I'm gonna listen to her. She's gonna take that role. So I, I think in this day and age, where both people are working in most relationships, it's really hard to say who's what role. You know what I mean? Who has what role? Because you're both providing, you're both protecting, you're both nurturing at different times. You're both caring for each other at different times. So and then love language too. Who's more dominant? What's my partner's love language? You know, what's my love language? I know what I need, and I know what he needs. So it's like but what he needs is different than me. I like acts of service. He likes words of what is it, affirmation. So that's what I give him, and he gives me acts of service because I don't want to feel like I'm doing everything. You know what I mean? I have to go to work, provide for the family, and come home and cook and clean for you too. It's like what? That doesn't make any sense to me. And like you said, I cook because I like cooking, but I'm not going to cook every day, and I'm not expected to. But I work too, so that's just my spiel on it.
Okay. No, that was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. I feel like we have a very well-rounded panel here, very strong thought leadership. Thank you so much, Standby. I like the fact that you said, and this is something women don't really get real about. Can we keep it real? Like, if I have to baby you, I'm not sexually attracted to you because that feels a bit weird. That feels a bit boyish. Ladies, before I go to Bernadette, I think is it Bernadette? Did I see the name right? Before I go to the next person, would that be accurate? Have any of you ever felt turned off with a man who someone, if a man has ever put you in a position to baby him, does that affect your level of attraction toward him?
Yeah, it definitely it definitely does. I think in one of my first real relationships, he was a very sweet guy. Unfortunately, he had a dysfunctional relationship with his mother, and
And
so
so
I uh,
mute up everybody. If you're not talking, mute up for me.
I at the time didn't have the level of awareness I have now, and I kind of took on a motherly nurturing role because I got so invested in, his struggle and what he had going on that eventually I stopped looking at him as a boyfriend, and it was just kind of like um I got invested in, I guess, like a motherly way. Like I wanted him to succeed. I wanted him to be good because I felt bad for his situation, but I never really saw him as a boyfriend or a partner, and that's really what made us break up.
All right, that's real. Thank you. Welcome to the chat. I think it's Bernadette. Am I saying your name right? I cannot see. It's so small on my screen.
Can I quickly say something? I,
Let's see. I think you may be having some audio challenges. Let's try that again. Mic check. Can y'all hear her?
can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, Ebony, but I'm trying to go to the other person. Give her a second to become unmuted.
Um,
Bernadette, are you there? I could be saying your name wrong. You're right below Ebony. Can y'all see that? I can't see the screen. I can see it, but it's too small for me on my phone. Who's underneath Ebony? The lady in the middle. It's your turn. All right. Well, let's go to Tanga J. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. I just
Hey,
think,
Tanga.
hi, I think everyone is making it so difficult because it's very simple. You all marry each other. It's all about love. And if you love yourself, if you love your body, you'll take care of your body. And of course, you love your spouse.
All
You'll
marry
take
each
care,
other. It's all
you,
about
you
love.
take care
And
of
if
that
you love
spouse.
yourself, if you love your body, keep going. Go ahead.
So it should not be, it should not be measured who does what or who does what. You all are there to meet each other's needs. And
Can you
it's
hear me?
just simple.
I agree, Tanga. I agree. I think it's very simple. I think we complicate it. Um, so I have no pushback. And I think there's somebody trying to speak. Is that, let's see, who is that? Welcome. Somebody just said something. Oh, she dropped down.
up down.
Okay. Let's see. Uh, who is next to Tanga? The
Me?
let's see.
Are you
The
talking
person,
about
I forgot.
EBSQ?
Is it Esquire? Yes.
EBSQ? Are you are you asking me?
You're up next.
Okay.
Yep. What are your thoughts?
I think love is good, and it's. I mean, if you can, a lot of marriages aren't based on love. So whenever you look at arranged marriages, or one of the reasons why they last so long, is there's a shared religious belief or spiritual belief, and it goes a little bit deeper. But I think whenever we say love, we as women are groomed to just have acts of service and just keep on giving. and giving and giving and not expecting anything in return or expecting so little in return. And so at some point, we're wearing ourselves out physically, mentally, spiritually. And so I think it's all right to have expectations because you have to have that kind of communication with your partner. You need to tell them what you need. They don't know. You know, there's a lot of things my husband didn't know. And I had to actually tell him. I'm getting frustrated with him, and it's not even his fault because I'm not telling him what I need. That's not his job, is not to just know me. My job is to share myself with him fully and be open with him and keep open communication. And I think that's something that we as women, we're almost scared to ask. You know, we're scared to ask and scared to be selfish. And I give that to men because that's one thing they got down. They have no problems with taking what they want and asking for what they need. But we as women, I feel like there's a really big imbalance when it comes to that. We don't want to ask. We don't want to feel like we're taken, that we're using people. Like that's what society, because it's like if you're using somebody, even if you don't want to, you want to stay at home and you want to have gender roles where you're a stay-at-home mom and that's your job is to take care of the household. For a lot of in our society right now, you're considered like a gold digger. Whenever it's like, no, I just want to be a housewife. I want to just raise kids and be at home and take care of the family and have that man, provide financially completely. But, you're taking a chance too, because on Mad Day, if you're out and about and, you don't have any skills for the real world, what are you going to do after that? So I don't know. It's just, to me, it's like we just live in a society where it's like women are just groomed not to want things or to have expectations of our partners. That's
When
all I
you
have to
say
say about that.
when you say women, specifically black women or all women? Because
I
that's
think
a
that
whole
okay, so
can of worms.
well, I can't. I don't know if it's just black women. I think it's women in general, but I think black women, we get the worst of it. You know what I'm saying? Because even in other races, like men have no problems like financially supporting their women, and then they'll take care of them. They allow them to be housewives. And it's like in black culture, it's like, and it's something that I've always thought about. I really haven't wrapped my brain around yet, but in black culture, it's like we're just not even expected to be a housewife. Like we're just because, and it might be because the divorce rate is so high. Like my dad growing up always told me, you need to take care of yourself. You need to be financially independent. Don't you be dependent on a man. And so all three of his daughters, we've all, had careers and we've all worked. And my other two sisters are divorced now because of infidelity on the part of their husband. You know what I'm saying? So,
Um, yeah.
but thank goodness they can financially support themselves. But at one time, both of them were housewives. So I don't know if it's because of the divorce rate that, but I don't know. It seems like whenever I see, white women or Asian women, there's no problem with them being at home and being stay-at-home moms. They have no problems with it, you know? So they're okay with taking care of their man and, like as being a housewife, just dedicated housewife, but they're also financially supported completely too. I honestly haven't seen a black woman that's a housewife, so I don't know.
Neither have I. Neither have I. Which takes me to Phyllis's comment. She says, "How can a woman work 40 hours, the same as a man, come home, cook, clean, iron, do dishes, etc., then at night have to work her body against to please her partner? That's asking too much from a woman." Ebony, is that asking too much from a woman? Your mic is muted, Ebony.
I'm saying, okay, don't throw stones, guys. Again, I kind of like disagree with what Phyllis is saying. We have to look at it this way. There's different aspect of
Well, let me
generation.
say this. Is that too much for you? Is that too much for you? To have to
I
work, cook, clean. and then come home and please your husband sexually.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Again, it's what was instilled in me, right? As a woman growing up. It's what is required of me, right? And we also have to look at the different type of generational woman. What will happen in my generation might not happen in the generation that we're in now, right? It's different aspect of what woman will accept because this is the new era, and what woman will not will accept. Like I will accept what Phyllis said. I will make myself, and I'm not trying to be a Letitia here. I will make myself available and have the strength to do what is required of me.
I have a question, if
Sure.
that's okay, Queen Sheba.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
I am from a different generation. I'm a millennial, and there have been studies that have shown that the marriage rate has dropped because women, well, not drop, but women are getting married later because we're prioritizing ourselves. Now, from me being a millennial and from a younger generation, opposed to yourself, the conversation amongst me and my friends, we're all career educated. We all have our, we all have our careers. We're all educated, and we're all in relationships or been in relationships that really cater to us. Based upon what the comment just said, and I heard you say making yourself available, based upon the generations previous, do you feel that women stuck around or women were nurtured to do that out of an act of survival versus an act of love? Because women couldn't even get homes in their name until what, the 70s almost. Like there was a lot of things put in place that women didn't have access to, and they couldn't do without a man. So the trade-off was, let me quiet myself down and give all of myself to cater to someone out of an act of survival. Because how do you work 40 hours, whether you're a housewife or in an office, come home, take care of the home, do all of the things that a wife does, and that not affect you spiritually, mentally, or physically? Where do you get nurtured? Where does your
Uh,
cup get filled?
okay, let me answer what you just said. I Even though I might have the what my parents instill in me, I'm a very independent woman. I have a career in the hospital. I do the night shift 11 to 7. So y'all know, who those who know. Um, and I make myself again available in the sense that I prioritize. I am also a mom of triplets. So I do make myself available. And I had everything before I met my husband that I'm with now. I bought my home at 30, and I was a mom of triplets at 27. And I handled and had everything. Like when I met my husband, I said to him, I'm not looking for you to do things for me. I'm looking for you to do things with me. So, with that being said, and from meeting him, and I see that he has basically the same standard that I have in terms of, if the toilet is broken, he's not expecting me to fix that toilet. He's going to go do it. If anything is broken in this home, he's not expecting me to go take a hammer and do it because of maybe I see my parents do it. No, I I grew up with the standard of being independent. And again, even though my mom is not of the generation that I am of right now, or you, I've always been that independent woman. But at the same time, I'm going to cater to my husband. I'm going to cater to his needs. And
I've
I'm a
always been that
stupid woman.
independent
I
woman, but
stay strong.
mute up if
So
you're not
that
talking.
helps me.
You're not talking.
That helps me.
But I think what they're asking from you, Ebony, is where does the love come in? The because it sounds, and
I don't
you know what, and to each their,
uh,
hold on, to each
know
their
if
own,
because
to
we
each
were
their
brought.
own. Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
To each their own in relationships, right? Everybody has their own blueprint for how they do. I think what the audience is asking is how do you fill your cup? Outside of duties and requirements and fixing the toilets and cooking and cleaning, where does the love fit in a marriage?
Okay. So I believe. because of our religious belief as Pentecostal, we grew up in the church. We love each other unconditionally, and it would be fake in front of us to be in a relationship for 12 years and not love each other. I think we doing the things that we do together, pray together every night, having that gathering of prayer meeting with each other. We do that here in our home. So it's the love is not missing, or it's lacking anything, because again, we use God to cover our family. If it's okay to say that, we use God to cover our family. We use the love that God that we're supposed to have for each other in my family. Does that make sense?
That's fair enough. And I'll go to Tanga J. And then after
Hi.
that, it's Blessing.
Okay. I don't like a lot of confusion. I like things simple. What if you marry someone and they become a quadriplegic? I can't say it right now. And they lose their limbs, or something like that, and they need you. They're depending on you totally.
Right.
Where is that love? You don't measure. You do what you need. You do what your loved one needs. And all this, stuff that all this stuff around that, it doesn't matter. It just matters of your commitment to each other. You do and when you give and give and give and you don't measure, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't bother you. You love giving. So to say, I'm doing all this for my husband and he's not doing it for me, that's not what love is about.
Right.
If you do it in time, when you give in time, you will get. So you don't give with the purpose of getting. You lose that way. And basically, that's all I have to say. To me, I like simple. Keep it simple.
I love it.
And
That's fair
and love
enough.
love is
I'm
simple.
sorry.
Love is simple.
Simple. Love is kind. Everything.
The review hour. What are your thoughts?
Hi, good morning, everybody. I wanted to, one young lady up there, she had mentioned that it was different for Black women to, for instance, stay at home as a housewife and do all of those things that society says she is supposed to be doing for the household and her husband, and how hard it is for Black women to stay at home because their husbands expect them to work. And I had to agree with her that it is different. And the reason I say that is we had done a diversity study where at a former job of mine, and Black women were in that room and white women were in that room, and it was just honest talk. And this can be another, I guess, panel that you can do later on, but I just wanted to make it short, where the white women told us that they were nurtured differently. They were told from a young age, hey, you know you don't have to work when you get older. You're going to have a husband to take care of you. All you have to do is have a family, go to college, get that degree. But if you should meet someone at college or anywhere, and once you start having your family, it is his job to make sure that you're taken care of. And of course, when you come home, there are certain things that you have to do, that balance. But Black women, we're told, get out of that mirror, stop primping, put your head in those books, so you can make something out of yourself and so that you won't have to depend on a man. And so I just wanted to just kind of piggyback off what that young lady said. It is taught in our culture as Black women not to expect, not all Black women, I want to paint a broad brush, but it is taught that we are not to set ourselves up to be taken care of by men. We're supposed to get our education, and if it doesn't work out, we're set. So there is a difference, in my opinion, of what when we get in relationships and marriages, what we think we are supposed to be doing and what we are not going to do, or what we come into the relationship saying, hey, I'm not going to do that. I'm not supposed to be doing that. And if you want to leave, then leave. That is something that I believe a lot of Black women are taught, it's 50-50. It's, it's 100-100. But I just think that it's a culture thing.
And
I love it. I would love to come back and have a panel on that. But go ahead, somebody's trying to chime in.
so and again, we know that sometimes, I mean, and my girlfriend,
Hey,
uh
Ebony, let me hold on, Ebony. Let me get to a couple of people that haven't spoke yet. She's been
okay,
on and off. Let me give her an opportunity.
okay,
Bless, welcome. Is your mic
Hi.
working now, Bless?
Yes. Can
Hi,
you
good
hear
morning.
me? Hi,
We can
Queen
hear you
Sheba and
now.
panel. Oh, praise God. Yeah. So, oh my God, where do I begin with this topic? I'm from the area where I was brought up that the woman place was in the house, and she had to subject herself to her man, to her husband. He was It was God and him. Whatever he says goes, regardless of how she feels. Um, it was all about him. And when I had my children, I brought up my daughters and my son differently the way I was conditioned to. That my daughters, I prepare them to be wives and mother and to take care of the house. And my son, he was, the man, he didn't know, still this day don't know to cook or clean or anything like that because he was supposed to be served. He was the king. So
yeah,
now that I have a do-over, I'm doing it differently with my grandchildren. So I am treating my grandson and my granddaughters equally, that your girlfriend or wife or whatever they work out of the house, you got to contribute uh, to the house, not only financially, but help cook, help clean, learn to do the dishes, learn to, it's not the woman role to work 40 hours out there and come home and do two or three jobs, cook, clean, take care of the children, and then still, when the night comes, whether she's tired or not, be responsible to satisfy your needs. Because sometimes at the end of the day, she's so tired, all she wants to do is to rest because the time her head hit that pillow, it's the beginning of another day. So now, I do it different with my um, grandchildren and, my daughters. I talk to my son-in-law and stuff like that. So they are relearning that, it's a 50-50. We both work outside of the house. If the husband reach home first, you start a cook. Take the children them up in the homework and, 50-50. And so far, um, they having some challenges in the area because especially when you're from the Caribbean, you grown up that man is macho. That's not a man job to do this and to do that. So
mhm,
yeah.
I'm glad you made it up, Queen. That was such divine wisdom. Thank you so much. Anybody
Thank
want to
you.
respond to what
I
Bless
just,
Queen has said?
uh, okay,
I,
go ahead.
oh, I just wanted to say thank you as well. In hearing that, I love to hear growth. I love to hear that you saw something and you said, you know what, I'm going to do it different for my grandkids. And I really do appreciate hearing that. I really do.
And she sounded like she's from the
Thank
Caribbean.
you.
I'm from Jamaica, and I understand exactly what she was saying. That's why I say what I say. I am dead set with how I was brought up and what was instilled in me. And not only that, if if we don't, I'll tell you a story. I had a friend who wasn't doing what I was doing, right? And her husband was beating her because she wasn't cooking, she wasn't cleaning, she wasn't doing anything that was, again, expected or required of her to do. And and this is in Jamaica, he would beat
Let
her
me ask you this.
because she
So, do
wasn't
you
being
think he was
clean.
beating her because she wasn't cooking and cleaning, or he was beating her because that's the type of man that he is?
I mean, we can look at it both ways, but the reasoning and she's no longer here because of what he did and the amount of beating that she got. He said she's like, you're a dirty woman. You're not clean. Your mother didn't raise you right. These are the things that you would hear if you're not doing what is expected, hashtag require of you to do. Like right now, my daughters look at me and say, Ma, you do too much. And I'm not going to do what I see you do. My daughters,
Hold on, Ebony. I want to go back to that because that's a lot. Like when I put stuff out like that on my panel, that could be a trigger. So we got to break this down.
yeah,
So this lady is no longer here because she didn't
no,
cook and clean. Is that what we're saying?
right. Because he considered,
Hold on. Listen, hold on. This lady is no longer here because
mhm,
she did not cook and clean. And had she cooked or cleaned, she would have still been here. Is that what
she,
we're saying?
okay, she didn't do what was required of her, is what she would tell me. Like he says that I'm disgusting, I'm dirty, I don't cook, I don't clean, I don't come home, there's no food ready. Basically not doing what what I do in my marriage, right? And it's a sad situation again because it was a DV, right? But again, it's what is required of us and
But
what I
I want to make sure we're not putting out a wrong message to
right,
women that if you don't cook and hold on, that if
guys,
you don't cook and clean, that this is what happens to women that don't do what's
and
required. Because a wife is hold on, a wife is not a requirement. He who
oh,
finds a wife finds a good thing and he is blessed.
right,
So I just want to make sure that I overcome that with a
hmm,
more powerful connotation so that women can walk away knowing that a wife is a gift to a man.
right.
And there is no requirement. Like
I don't
he when he finds you, he finds a good thing and he is blessed. So if he beat his blessing, that's not on her. That's on him.
again it again and I'll put it out there, not that Jamaican men do that, all the time. I'm just saying an experience that I had in my life with my friend who was unalive because of what she was supposed to be doing in the household. And this wasn't happening, guys, and I'm going to try to be careful. It wasn't just happening in private. He would take the dishes and break them and do all these things in front of her children. So I'm just saying that to say this, it's what is like the other lady from, she sounds like she's from Trinidad or something. What she's saying is what was instilled in us, and what I'm telling you, what my daughters are saying to me, Ma, you do a lot, and I don't think that you should be doing it, and they won't be doing it in their marriage, right? So it's just, I don't want anyone to walk away thinking that, oh, it's okay for a man to put their hands on you because you're not cooking, because you're not giving them what they need, or keeping a dirty house. Or I don't want you guys, that's just an experience I had in my life, right, with my girlfriend.
Queen, can I say
Can I
something?
say something to
Sure.
that, please?
Let's
Oh,
go. Let's go with whoever. Let's go with Joy, and then we'll go to Blessed Queen. I think that's how you both came in. Joy,
I'll make
or,
it quick because I
or
want
who?
to hear Blessed Queen.
No
But
problem.
I just want to say I'm sorry, Ebony, that you even had to experience that. And it touches a little bit on what I was saying earlier. And again, this is not me to I'm not trying to talk about your culture, your generation, or how you were brought up. When I was saying that for my generation or either others, I don't want to just put it on my generation. When we hear certain things like, oh, this is what's required, and there is such a hold on the gender roles to the point that it becomes toxic, that's what we were talking about. And that at once upon a time it was a survival mechanism. And when I hear stories like that, it definitely did trigger me, because in hearing you kind of referencing it to maybe why you may still be doing the things that you're doing, it sounds like a trauma response to me. And so I just kind of want to deviate for a moment to say to any woman in the panel or anyone, make sure that your cup is being filled, and that yes, you can love your partner, but also make sure that in catering to needs, seeing needs, that it is healthy needs. And when it deviates from being healthy, you prioritize yourself, because we talk a lot about love and relationships, but love is from God, and God is not the author of chaos and confusion. And in your relationship, when you have to put yourself aside, when you have to stay out of survival, and when something is happening to you that you don't want to be done to you, that is not love. And that is not a relationship that you should be in or stay in.
Well stated. Blessed Queen, you're up next, and then I'll go to the rest of the panel.
Hello?
Waiting. Yep, we're waiting for you. Blessed
Okay,
Queen. I
hi.
think you have to come
Yes.
off. There you go.
Yeah. Um, I'm from the Caribbean. I'm from Trinidad, and I wanted to say to the not the woman who just finished speaking. I agree with what you're saying, but the woman previously, that is something that is it's a learned behavior because my ex, I cook, clean, and do everything, and still he was physically, emotionally, and sexually abusive. Some men in the Caribbean, that part of their trade, part of their uh, nature, it's not all men, but it is. And I'm sorry, and I had, a lot of, friends and acquaintances go through the same verbal and physical and sexual abuse because, it is something that some of the men see their dad and granddad treat the woman without any regard, without any love. They think that the woman is piece of furniture or is an object. They treat them without love and without compassion. And, so it's something that happens in the Caribbean a lot where we women are physically abused by our husband. That is why I said I'm glad that I had a do over because I tell my son in law, I'm sorry. I was abused enough for 10 generations to come. If you come home and my daughter didn't cook, honey, if your mother didn't teach you to cook, you better have money on a plastic because you're not going to verbally or physically assault my child. So it's something that is taught in the culture, and to me, it is a curse and it needs to be broken. And in this day and age, I do not and would not encourage no woman to think that you are a, tool that is there to be at your husband's disposal, where you get up and all you thinking about is the house, the husband, this, that, and the other. Because for too long, Black women in the Caribbean have lived in loveless, meaningless relationship and marriage just for the status quo, for children, for family, and without any regard for themselves. So that is not something that I adhere to now.
That's true. Keep going.
Yeah, but it is something that in the Caribbean it is still, it's still an issue where if a woman don't cook, it's because the husband want to raise his hand. You better be raising your hand to hug my child or to comb your hair. Because no, right? Because as I said, I saw my mother go through that. You understand, was a wonderful cook and clean, better than I was. But it was just the culture and how the upbringing of the man. And so I teach my son, you see how I felt and how hurt I was, and you always by my side crying with me in the corner. No woman should have to feel like that. And I tell my daughter in law, sweetie, if you're unhappy, you need to find somebody who would make you happy, who would validate who you are. If he cannot love you, you love yourself enough to leave. And he's like, Mom, why would you go and do that? I said, because, sweetie, you're not going to treat her like how your father treat me. But that's not your daughter. I said, that's the same thing your grandmother said.
Wow. Oh,
So
wow.
I'm not going to pass it on because it's somebody else's daughter. And this is something that we have to break. It's a cycle that we have to break. And we think that, oh, if I cook and clean and do this and do that, he's not going to assault me. He's not going to beat me. He's not going to embarrass me. No, he's going to do it regardless. And you could cook from Sunday to Sunday. And when the night comes, you lie down and you spread out and he's going to make you feel less than regardless. So we need to know our worth and our value and what we bring to the table. And that's my 2 cents. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing, all of you. So, what I would like to do is end it on a high, and I'm going to go to Tanga and I'm going to work my way around the panel. In 30 seconds or less, ladies, I want you to leave the audience with a positive and or empowering message about relationships, um, women, or whatever comes to mind. I'll go with you, Tanga.
Okay, if you are unequally yoked and there is no love, there's no marriage. That's it.
All right. That's pretty powerful. I love it. Simple and plain. Ebony.
For me, I got a little emotional because I remember everything, but I want to just say that I've learned a lot today on this panel. And it seems as if there's certain things I'm going to have to reevaluate and just try to make some minor adjustment too. Thank you, guys.
Oh, wow. That is so lovely and refreshing. Listen, it takes a village, but where two or more are gathered in his name, there is power in the midst of them. I love that, Ebony. Thank you. Let's go to the review hour.
Hey, I would say in the beginning, almost every time there are signs before we jump that broom. Pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to the signs. And if the signs are there and they are not compatible with you, go in the opposite direction.
I love it. I have to agree. Keisha Cole said it best. If love is your attention, if love is the goal, then pay attention. Did I cut you off, review hour? Were you going to add more?
Oh, no, no, no. That's it. Pay attention to the signs.
Okay, let's go to Evie. Evie.
Is that Ebbs? Ebbs
Yep,
King?
that's you. Uh huh.
Okay. I just want to say, ladies, thank you for sharing your stories. Man, I was tearing up, and Black women are so just powerful, and the stories that you have really, like, really, really touched me. I just want us all to remember that, we deserve love too. We deserve to be catered to. We deserve to be worshipped, and just don't sell yourself short.
I love it. I receive it. Before I go to, I'm gonna go to Blessed Queen and give her 30 seconds, and then Joy, you're gonna take us home. But I would love to have a part two of this conversation. It was so good, and I wanna kind of play off of what the review hour shared regarding the amount of affection and preparation Black women receive compared to their peer group. So if you ladies would like to come back as my panelists, I would
Yes.
like to prioritize you all. I think you did a hell of a job today. So just think about it. I would love to have each of you as panelists as we do a part two of this conversation. So you can DM
Yeah.
me or just let me know behind the scenes in private chat, and I will hand the mic to, let's go to Blessed Queen.
What I'm gonna say is that we women have to know our worth, know when to submit, know when not to submit, because love is lovely, and we ought to know that we are a gem and we ought to be treated like one.
I love it. Know who you are and know your worth, and that
Yeah,
you're truly blessed, and
yeah.
you deserve love on every level of your life, ladies. All of you. All of you. Okay? So that was a good word, Blessed Queen. Thank you. Joy, take us home.
Thank you to everyone that spoke today. A word that comes to me is that the sum of your value is not measured in what you do for others, but in who God has called you to be. And know that you are beautiful, that you are worthy, that you are valued, and that you should never have to alter or change your state of mind, your physical state, your mental state, or your emotional state at the state of someone else. And oftentimes we get in relationships, we may not always see those red flags. We may not know certain things that was packed in us that is leading to our trauma, but always know that you may not be able to control what someone brings to the table, but you can always control whether you stay. And as long as you keep your value first, keep that you are the prize first, and keep that you are worthy of love, grace, patience. Listen, if you ask for the stars, you make sure your partner will go out there and get you the sun, because you are worth it. And that's all.
Wow.
Amen. Amen.
I
That's the
love
word.
Man,
it.
thank you.
That's the word.
I love it. Look, some of you, I don't know how to reach you. If you could send me an email or DM me on Instagram so that I have your information, we're going to do a part two within the next week. This was such a beautiful and engaging conversation. I have to continue it. It seems like the audience is wanting more. They felt like, wow, I'm just smiling from ear to ear. This was a hell of a conversation. So thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in. We love you. Look, walk out of this feeling refreshed, uplifted. Go and be great on this Saturday afternoon. If you don't have a partner, remember you are your partner. Take yourself
Amen.
out and do
Amen.
something nice for
That's the
yourself.
word.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Queen.
Thank you.
Thank you as
Thank you,
Thank you,
always.
Queen.
everyone.
Have a great day, ladies.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Have a great one.
Be blessed all day.
Continue being blessed. Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.